On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino, OU football general manager Jim Nagy joins us for an interview. Then we preview the Masters with the one and only Eddie Radosevich, and we give you our winners and losers of the week. Please download and subscribe to the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and write us a good review. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search Oklahoma Breakdown on any of those, and you'll find us. All right, our man Michael Hosty will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Wednesday, April 9th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there's so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack match roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards, and this football team was so close to getting out of the spring without a significant injury, Ted. Not good. Bad.
We cannot have nice things here. We cannot have nice things. Yeah. Brutal news. Javonnie Gibson's probably been one of the best stories of spring football. I mean, we've been out there and seen the guy. The hype is legit. Big physical football player at wide receiver, has really had great chemistry with Mateer throughout spring ball. Gets rolled up, injured. I guess the true fallout we're not going to know until they go in and, I guess has the surgery, or they get a closer look as to actually what's going on there. So I don't even know what the future holds, what the prognosis is, how long it's going to take for him to get back on the football field, but sounds like it's going to be a while.
Never good when you have to bust the air cast out.
No.
And just from what we've been told, kind of a freak deal, right? Another wide receiver catches a quick out. Gibson starts blocking for him and stumbles and falls into his legs. Football happens sometimes, and it's just so unfortunate. It feels like this room just can't catch a break, man. It feels like there's some type of curse on the wide receiver. Maybe we need to have, what's it called, a seance? What do you call this?
Yeah, something. I don't know what we have to do, but the injury sniper is still hiding around on campus and plucking people off. I guess opportunity, Elijah Thomas, Manny Choice, the young guys who've looked good in spring. Well, now someone's going to have to step up, and we'll see who can fill that void, if anyone can at all. And then the other thing is I'm sure there was an organized plan, a detailed plan as to how this football team was going to attack the spring transfer window. This throws a wrench into it, and does it change what their thoughts were? And does receiver all of a sudden pop back into the mix a little bit should the right player come available? I just don't know.
We have the perfect guy to ask on the podcast, but we recorded the interview with Jim Nagy before this happened.
Right.
So clearly we would have asked him if we would have recorded after Javonnie Gibson got hurt on Monday, but we recorded it on Sunday. So we'll see. Just awful news coming out of spring ball. This weekend, though, Crimson Combine. And even though it's not a true spring game, it's going to be a big recruiting weekend for Oklahoma.
Yep.
There are tons of recruits, big-time recruits, coming to Norman this weekend. So, Sooner Nation, show up in a big way. The weather is supposed to be beautiful, supposed to be perfect, nice and warm. So, a lot of these guys, this will be their first impression of what Oklahoma football and what Sooner Nation are all about. So, show up if you can. I know it's Saturday of Masters Weeks. I know that a lot of people, kids have stuff. I totally get that stuff. But if you can be there, show up and represent what this program is all about. That's all we ask, Ted. We'll be there. We'll be broadcasting this bad boy.
We'll be there. There's going to be plenty going on. Campus is going to be buzzing. There's all kinds of stuff. Like you said, the weather's great. Um, with the format, it can kind of be a come and go type of thing. Stop in, see some drills while you're around campus, whatever. But yeah, it should be good. It's the first time we don't know what we're going to get. I mean, I think there's actually a little bit of intrigue in that just to see how everything plays out. Could be great and get some interaction with the players, get some autographs signed. Should be a good time.
No doubt about it. All right, let's get to our interview with OU General Manager Jim Nagy. It is our pleasure to be joined by the General Manager for Oklahoma football, Jim Nagy. Welcome to the podcast, my friend. What's going on?
It's good to be on, Phil. It's good to, I guess it's back-to-back days, right? Lucky enough to see you guys yesterday, but good to be on the pod.
You all settled in up there yet? You got your office? You got all your things in order, or still working that out?
Not settled at all. I mean, where I'm sitting right now will eventually be my office, but right now I came over here because there's actually a nice backdrop, but I'm in the other hallway in a kind of a makeshift office for right now. But it doesn't matter because I'm spending all my time in the war room watching the tape anyway.
Well, I love to hear that. Now, right after you got to OU, you did tweet out a picture, and the fan base was concerned about the size of the TV in your office. Have we upgraded yet? Because I feel like the fans were legitimately worried about you, Jim.
I don't know how it came across. Look, it's not a small TV at all. I should probably post something else after that with a tape measure to show people it's not a small TV whatsoever, but it looked really small in that post. I thought it was pretty funny. The fans kind of went off on that.
Well, so tell us what's going on. What's the day-to-day looking like for you right now? I'm sure you're still, learning the current roster, learning the landscape. Just where is the main focus of your time going right now?
Well, the good part is, Teddy, I've learned the building by now. So I got here on a Wednesday and then had a couple days with everybody in the office, and then they all went their separate ways on spring break. So it was a little bit like I was Kevin McAllister for a week, like in Home Alone. I was in this building by myself, literally by myself for about 8 days. And I was, running around the hallways, trying to find out where everything was, getting myself lost. But so now that we're past that, yeah, man, there's every day there's something new. Meeting with different departments, just trying to get around the building and know as many people as possible, and certainly learn this roster, go to practice. Live evaluations are the best evaluations. So yeah, just every day, man, every day there's something new.
The evaluation piece is extremely interesting to me. Clearly, that is what you've been doing for a long, long time. What has the process been like? Like, how have you gone about evaluating the current roster?
Well, starting on the tape, I've just taken it kind of position by position. I'll dive into one position group at a time. So that's how I handled the tape part of it, and watched a lot of full game stuff. Also watched a lot of cut-ups when it came to certain positions. You get to wide receivers, DBs, you can just roll through targets and things like that. And then every day at practice so far this spring, I've taken a different position group really to kind of zero in on. Taking a lot of visual notes and handwritten notes on body types and movement. Just trying to learn these guys physically. The stuff you can't see on tape, right? And some of these guys have gotten better throughout the spring too, which that's probably been the most fun. Is see some guys that I maybe thought one thing off the 2024 tape, and then to get into this spring, and they're already showing growth. So credit to the coaching staff, credit to the players for putting in the work. But some of these guys are already changing.
I know, one of the things that you said very early on whenever you accepted the role is how important the collaboration is with the coaching staff. And you talked to some of your previous stops and stories that you had and how to approach that. How has that been? Just digging into the roster and into position groups with the coaches.
Yeah, it's been awesome. No, it's been great. I've tried to be really intentional with the communication there, just getting to know the guys informally too, not just on in a business setting, but just informally talking, letting them know my background and hearing about their background, where they came from. I mean, a lot of these guys, a lot of these guys I scouted, a lot of these guys I've crossed paths with, when I was in the NFL or my last job at the Senior Bowl. So, I was pretty familiar with a lot of these guys, but no, it's been great. And again, we're coming in on this 2026 class as a scouting group right now, and what we're trying to do is, these coaches, the staff has done an unbelievable job getting us to this point. But now that we're getting through a bunch of these guys on the 2026 board, it's kind of steering it in a direction if we have to. When we're on a number of players, kind of letting them know. Kind of how we're stacking things on our end, the way we see it. We're really dealing with the group of players that they've brought to the table already because they're so far down the road. But yeah, the collaboration's been great, man. It's been really good getting to know these guys, and they're embracing this new structure. They really are. I feel that genuinely. So, and as we go, it's just going to get stronger and stronger. So I'm actually really excited about like a year from now when I'm completely settled here, and the new scouting group is completely settled, and we're all on the same page. Like, I haven't even given the coaching staff the new grading scale yet. I'm going to do that before they hit the road here in April, so we can all start talking the same language on players. But I want to get through spring practice before we do that. But yeah, man, it's been great so far.
Okay, well that leads to a very important question. Number scale guy, or are we talking color code scale guy?
I've always been a numbers guy, but we are going to color code it. It's going to be easier. I think it's going to be easier for the coaching staff to decipher, and the key will be just all the same language. So top of the scale is a blue player, goes blue, red, purple, black, orange, brown, pink. And we're very detailed. There's going to be no ambiguity. I mean, there's really detailed when we give these guys the scale. It basically every grade, every color group, basically defines where we see those guys, in a certain time frame in the program. And then we're going to have a series of alerts, kind of a letter alert system that Taylor Redd, our new assistant GM, and I both used in going all the way back to my Patriot days, which were a long time ago. And we've added a bunch, and we've got rid of some and make it more college specific, or high school specific, I should say. But so, let's say, for example, we've got a really good player, top of the scale. He's a blue player. He's got a mental alert, and then he's got a medical alert, so he'd be a blue MX. And then so we can just talk shorthand through players that way. And then there's also the one thing we are adding as well is a gettability scale. So on the gettability scale, it's going to be a 1 to 5. Five basically being he's a slam dunk. We know he's coming here. He loves us. He's pretty much told us he's wants to be a Sooner. So in that case, he would be a blue 5 MX, and we can just talk shorthand that way. So no, I'm excited to get those guys going on the scale. I've kind of discussed it a little bit with some of them. I think they're excited to actually have like a scale structure in place, which wasn't here in the past, and. But we'll get there. We got about another week.
I'm pretty sure a blue 5MX is a BMW, isn't it? It sounds like a BMW.
It probably is. There probably is that.
Well, we're in spring practice right now. The post-spring transfer portal window is quickly approaching. Is this free? I don't know. Like, how do you approach that? Does this feel like free agency? Does it feel like more of a draft? I guess just how are you approaching this upcoming important window?
Yeah, we're going to be really strategic with it, Teddy. I mean, there's a couple spots on the roster that we would certainly like to upgrade, but we don't know what's going in the portal yet. Um, I think Kirby Smart. There was a clip with Kirby last week talking about how agents are hitting them up and pitching players that aren't even in the portal yet. That's certainly happening. I'm getting a lot of communication from agents on players and guys that are in the portal already and guys they think will go into the portal. So we're trying to watch all those guys as we get that communication from the agent group, just so we're ready. We don't know if they're going to be in there or not, but we will be strategic. To me, at this point, they're going to be players that clearly upgrade our starting units. We've got a couple down the line depth needs, and we'll address those if we can. Maybe they'll just be scholarships or kind of low money. But we have some money, kind of earmarked for starter level players that would significantly upgrade the roster, and we'll see if any players shake free that way. But if they are, we'll be ready for them.
So clearly, you've been part of building rosters in the NFL, but when it comes to building a roster in the NFL, like the number you're working with, and you also know the market for certain positions. That's really not how it's working right now in college football. How challenging has it been for you, Jim, to kind of learn this new market and how this sport is currently functioning from a roster construction and kind of fund allocation standpoint?
Yeah, we've got some models already in place for next year, Gabe. We've got a 2-year model set up for this year, next year with different contingencies. We're certainly like everyone. It's nothing it's earth shattering, but we are going to value certain positions over others. We're going to allocate certain dollars at certain positions. But again, that's not a hard and fast rule. I mean, if there's a really good player out there, an impact player at a position maybe we don't value as highly, but we know he can make an immediate impact, we're going to pay that player. But I think it is. I will go back to your original point. The really difficult thing is not knowing the market. Like we use that example. We talked about it yesterday out of practice that, in the NFL, what a starting linebacker is going for in the league. You know what a Pro Bowl linebacker is going for. You know what the market is for those guys, generally, right? I mean, teams can go out and way overspend and shoot the market. You can do a Deshaun Watson deal and blow the market to shreds. But
yeah, that went well.
Yeah, that went well for him. But
please don't do that, Jim. Please.
But we don't. Yeah, we don't. But we don't know. We don't know what other teams, are spending. We don't know the numbers out there. You can't rely on agents for that either. I mean, you get yourself in a lot of trouble. If you let agents kind of dictate the market. So we have to be disciplined. We have to be really disciplined on how we assign value. But again, it's going to be case specific as well, because if there's a player that we really think could be a difference maker here at OU, we're going to go give it our best shot.
What's the learning curve been like? I mean, for the majority of your career, you've been evaluating guys that are really the peak of the peak. Most of the development is done. The physical, most of these guys have grown into the bodies that they're going to be in. But now you add the high school element where you've got to start to kind of forecast where this guy may be in 3 or 4 years. How has that been? And is that something that you enjoy or think that it's going to be something you like doing? I guess, I don't know. It just seems like a new function that you don't have a whole lot of depth in at this point.
Yeah, no, Teddy, I'll say this, like the high school tape has I haven't found it to be as challenging as I thought it would be. Because when you really boil it down, I mean, what I have learned, there are so many different levels of high school football out there. It's great when you get, 2 really good Texas programs or 2 great Florida programs playing against each other. But no, when you just really focus on instincts and movement and urgency and play style, you can really dial in on the football player. But to your original point, I mean, I just got off the phone with Taylor Redd, our assistant GM. We were talking about this because we had a group of players here yesterday, some really good ones as well. and we get all the measurements. We measure hand, arm, wing, just like you would at a pro day, just so we can start having benchmarks. Because some of these guys will be on campus 4 or 5 times before official visits, and we want to start charting growth progressions with players. But that's why I'd love to get. We've already started to talk to our sports science people downstairs. Robert Saussman does a great job, but he and I are getting together on like what is a kid. If a guy's a 6'1", 260-pound defensive tackle in high school, what does that guy typically grow to be, right? So really dialing in. That's the hardest part, right? Like I'm used to dealing with 22, 23-year-old guys leaving college and they're physically mature. These guys, they're not. The guys that we're bringing here on campus right now aren't close to that. So we had a receiver here over the weekend that is a big, strong receiver, love his skill set, and he's already a really big guy. Like I'm wondering what this guy's going to be like in 3 years. So that to me, that's the hardest part, is that body growth progression.
That's interesting, Jim. And it kind of leads me to this question. Is there any like perfect formula between high school guys and portal guys? And like, is there, what type of balance do you see you taking? Like, what approach do you see you taking that? Or is it going to be a year by year thing, you think?
Yeah, it's going to be a year by year thing, Gabe. But I do think that, this staff does such a good job in recruiting players. Again, our job is to get them on more players and better players. They're going to do a great job recruiting them. And then they also do a great job on the retainment piece. Like this culture is so strong here at OU, to a large part because of guys like the two of you. And that's why this culture is so strong. So if we target the right guys and they're here in the program and they're not gonna turn, at the first bit of adversity that strikes, that they're jumping in the portal. Like if we're really dialed into the makeup of these guys and how they're wired, we're going to be able to hold on to them, and just really see the development through. And again, you're going to have some attrition. Guys are going to get antsy because they're not getting reps. That's going to happen. That's when you're going to have to go to the portal. But I think we've already seen, as new as this whole world is, we've already seen some programs make some major mistakes going too heavy into the portal. We never want to be living and dying year to year in the portal. That's fine for basketball because you only really need, like 3 really good players on a basketball team to make a deep NCAA run. We need a full team. It's very different than football. We need to build this thing through high school recruiting and then supplement through the portal. And again, but if a great player shakes free at a position we need or a position we see a guy can be a difference maker, we are going to go after those guys because there's going to be some late bloomers out there that maybe we didn't identify out of high school that we want to make a run at. So there's not a magic number, breakdown, but I do think that if we do this thing the right way on the high school side, we won't have to be in the portal too heavy year to year.
We'll get you back to the interview, but first, hitting the highway. Remember to stop at Love's Travel Stops. You can't miss the heart of the highway, and with the Love's app, you can also save big. How big? 10 or 15 cents big. Save 10 cents per gallon on gas and 15 cents per gallon on auto diesel. Save with the Love's app today and be welcomed by clean places and friendly faces. Certain conditions may apply. See loves.com for details.
You listen to this podcast to get insight from the guys who played the game. Why don't you take that same approach when it comes to buying your beef? When you order from Didier Ranch, you are getting your beef directly from the people who raise it. A rancher knows what it takes to have premium quality beef. Didier Ranch has done it for over 100 years right here in Oklahoma. From delicious 21-day dry-aged ribeyes to savory steak burgers, there is no better place to get your beef. Get your beef from the guys who've done it and use code Oklahoma15 for 15% off on DidierRanch.com. Didier Ranch, tradition tastes better.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, an Oklahoma-owned company and the official drinkware partner of the OU Sooners. It's time to get ready for spring break and spring sports with Simple Modern. Have you seen their new getaway bag? It's perfect for lugging all the equipment to and from soccer or baseball fields all spring long. Its thick rubber sides stand up no matter what you throw at it, and if it gets dirty, you can just hose it off. It's good everywhere you'll need to go this spring. And with 10% of all Simple Modern profits going to charity, many in Oklahoma, you're also helping Oklahomans everywhere. Simple Modern, it's good everywhere. All right, back to the interview.
You know, in the NFL, if you somehow find yourself into the war room for a team, you'll say that they have a grade on every single player in the NFL. That's not realistic in college football just because there's so many teams, there's so many players. I guess what's the process and of finding, like, where are you going to dedicate your time? Is it just kind of who's caught your attention across college football, or is it going to be methodical to where every team is kind of evaluated and you grade most of those positions?
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we're going to start in the SEC. We're going to start with our opponents. This really surprised me a couple years ago. I lost one of our scouts at the Senior Bowl to an SEC program, and all he does is do advanced scout. He's a former NFL scout. All he does is advanced work. And he's like, Jim, this hasn't existed in college football, which kind of blew me away, kind of blew my mind. But we will have someone on our college scouting side doing advanced work on all our opponents. So by the end of the year, we're going to have the majority of the SEC already scouted, and then we're going to obviously supplement that and finish out the rest of the conference. But yeah, we're going to target across college football. You know, I mean, there's some really good players at the G5 level and also at the FCS level. But again, you're targeting all conference type players at that level. We're going to, when it comes to the Power Fours, we're going to really scout everybody. We're going to have enough manpower in the building to do that, which is great. I mean, the credit to the leadership here at OU, really believing in the structure. We're going to have plenty of manpower to scout all the Power Fours. And then we're going to selectively scout the group of fives in FCS. And there's really good players at that level. I mean, my last job at the Senior Bowl is a testament to that. We'd have 10, 11 FCS guys, draftable FCS players in the Senior Bowl every year, and all those guys got drafted. So if they were draft picks at that level, I mean, shoot, we'll take draftable players at OU. You know, that's a really good thing. We had 3 players at the combine this year. That's not good enough. So we'll be targeting all levels, Teddy.
That's the FCS, kind of the G5. Have you developed a lot of relationships at those levels with your role at the Senior Bowl? Because I feel like you took a lot of pride in finding the absolute best at those levels and bringing them to the game.
Yeah, tons of relationships, and those are really important. You know, I mean, and the same thing with the agent community. This whole thing is relationships. I've learned that. I really learned that probably more so at the Senior Bowl than even when I was working in the NFL, just because that was such a new role, and there's so many different players that go into the Senior Bowl thing. And so really it's a relationship business, and I've learned that. But yeah, those FCS coaches, I mean, some great relationships at some of those programs that year in and year out, you look at the FCS level, some of those programs are the ones that crank guys out every year. I mean, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, those programs do a great job. In the group of 5 level as well. I mean, there's some group of 5 coaching staffs that do an unbelievable job. I frankly hate it for those guys. That, to me, that's got to be the hardest level to coach at right now, is because you develop good players, and then you got schools like Oklahoma and bigger schools coming to get your best players. But yeah, relationships certainly matter.
Well, I know that you probably had some type of relationship with Brent Venables before you came. He's coached so many great players that I'm sure those conversations for the Senior Bowl you would probably have. What's been your opinion now that you're here, and I guess what you thought of him previously? How does that match up with what you've seen with how he interacts with the team and with the coaching staff? I guess overall impressions of Brent Venables.
It's been great. I've really been impressed with Brent's ability to multitask. I mean, not only is he the head coach, now he's calling the defense this year. A lot's been made of that. So for him to balance his time is I mean, it's been really impressive to watch. Sometimes it's hard to get him because he's so busy. It's going to be great. The office I'm in right now, if you guys have been in the building, I'm going to be directly across from Brent. So we're going to have a lot of unintentional, when we're bumping into each other, which is going to be great because sometimes I only need them for, a couple of minutes at a time, just so we stay on the same page on everything we have going. I mean, there's so many balls in the air right now that, sometimes it's just all I need him for is 5 minutes. But man, his ability to just to multitask and then communicate to the team. Just I've sat in a couple of the team meetings, and he's great with those guys. Then the intensity on the practice field. It's been awesome to hear from the guys we've had on campus, the recruits that have been at a lot of other places and a lot of big time places, and the difference in our intensity level at practice compared to some of these other schools that the players have been at. So, and you guys have been out there. Yesterday, Saturday was a really spirited practice. It was to me, it was maybe the best back and forth practice of the spring in terms of offense making plays and then defense making plays, and not one side kind of dominating it. We've had some one-sided practices this spring, so that was great. So no, he's been awesome. He's been great. We've been on the same page. We're really aligned right now on some of this portal stuff because that's the thing that's right in front of us. So yeah, things have been great.
If you got to have a quarterback in the SEC to have a chance?
No doubt.
And Teddy and I have been out there. We've seen Mateer. He certainly looks like he's going to be an absolute stud for this football team. Jim, what have you thought of what you've seen from John Mateer so far in spring ball?
Yeah, you hit it. I mean, it's not just the SEC. It's Pop Warner. It's high school. I mean, you got to have a real guy under center. And Oklahoma's had one. I mean, you played with them. I mean, you guys both played with great quarterbacks here. And I feel like we got a real guy. I think everyone in the building knows we have a real guy at quarterback, including the teammates. I've had a chance to talk to some of the teammates about him. I'm really trying to ask about John's leadership and how he is downstairs in the locker room. And man, they love this guy. And he makes, a handful of throws every day in practice where you're like, okay, that's a real NFL guy out there. I mean, he's going to make a difference. I want to pump the brakes a little bit on some of the Baker Mayfield stuff. I mean, the guy was the number 1 overall pick in the draft and a Heisman Trophy winner. But no, we're everyone in the build is excited about John. He is. He's got it. He's been in Ben's system for a couple of years now, which is huge. He's a new player to Oklahoma, but he's not a new player to Ben Arbuckle in his system. And just to see John help the other players through it. We've had some of the transfer wide receivers are stepping up, making plays. Some of the young receivers are stepping up and making plays. So yeah, it's going to be fun, man. John's going to be the best compliment I can give any player at any position when I would meet with him when I was a scout. I would just tell him, man, you were fun to watch. I mean, bottom line, that's the highest compliment I can give. And right now, going out to practice every day, John Mateer is a lot of fun to watch.
Hard not to watch him everywhere he goes whenever you're out there walking around at practice through the drills and everything. Has there been any evaluations on the current roster that have maybe really stood out or maybe were surprising, or guys that you think, whether it's physically or as you've gone through everything, that have really stood out, made an impression?
Yeah, I don't want to single out any players. I'll say some of the secondary guys are really starting to step up. Without naming names, there's some young guys in that secondary that got some dog in them. It's fun to watch. Offensive line group is getting better, as you would expect with Coach Biedenbow. I mean, they're coming along. A couple of those young pups look like they could help us.
I'll say it. Fasusi looks amazing.
Yeah, sooner
looks
rather
amazing.
than later.
Foj looks amazing.
There you go. You said it, not me. But yeah, no, there's some guys that are stepping up, some young guys, and it's really fun. I think some of these guys see an opportunity in front of them. Even some of the transfer portal guys. They're here at Oklahoma for the first time, coming from a smaller program. You would think they might be a little wide-eyed and overwhelmed by the step up in competition, and they're not. I mean, some of these guys are really getting after it. So no, it's been a really competitive spring. It's been fun. It's energized me being around a football team again. I went 7 years at the Senior Bowl where I wasn't around ball all the time. So it's been awesome going to practice and really setting my eyes on a new group every day and learning them. And there's been a lot more pleasant surprises than disappointments. That's for sure.
So Jim, right now, you've got Taylor Red. I know that you're constantly working on trying to get this front office looking the way that you want it to look.
Mhm.
What's your vision for the front office? Like when it's a finished product, how will it look?
Well, we're getting there. Taylor was a great first piece. I will say he was he was here last year with Jake Rosenberg and the athlete group, so he was in this thing. He was in the winter portal. He kind of saw that thing through. So then when I got the job and connected with Taylor after that, I mean he's really a bright guy. We have a similar background with New England. Now we're really far apart. Um, but we came from the same place. You know, he was around Coach Belichick and kind of came up under Bill in his time in the NFL. So that relationship has been awesome. It's been really fun. I mean, Taylor got here right away. He got here from Knoxville and we hit the ground running. And we've made a couple other ads that we haven't announced yet. I want to wait till we get the whole group together, but we've had a couple ads that I'm really excited about as well. Just trying to bring a kind of a diverse group of skill sets and backgrounds. So we're all like I just because we're like the new scouting group, I think that the guys that we're going to bring in can also really help on the recruiting side, if that makes sense. I mean, some of these guys we've added are going to be really good with the players. Some of the younger guys we're adding are going to be really good with the players when we bring them in. Some of the older guys are going to be really good with the parents because they're close to the parents' age. So we're trying, and they all have really good football backgrounds, NFL, college. So really diverse background. So it's going to be an awesome staff once we get it together. I've actually had 2 calls tonight with a couple guys. So I don't want to rush it. I want to get the right guys and have this be the right fit. Just like when you're building a team and building a locker room, you want to get the right fits, the right pieces, and that's what I'm trying to do. But I'm really excited about I mean, we've got 5 guys here that are just cranking every day. But I can't wait to get it announced because I think the Sooner fan base will be excited about it as well.
Well, so traditionally, and correct me on any of this if I'm wrong, but it's been you got windows where the college coaches can go out and see players, right, and go physically see them, whether it's at go watch a game or whatever. And it's difficult, obviously, because of their schedules. Will your scouts be able to go see high school players, or I guess how does that work? Are they going to be evaluating high school kids actively, like out seeing them?
No, because you can only have a certain number of on the road.
Okay, I guess that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
How does that, the coaches being out and the scouts, how does that marry up?
So we need to come up with that list by August 1st for next year. Like, so the name, nobody that's coming on now can go out. But by August 1st, we need to put that list out. And that's a conversation Brandon and I will have. I've talked to some other guys, some of my friends that work at other SEC programs that where the coordinators aren't going out, and they're they feel like it's time better spent being in the building, right, for at the coordinator spot. So we'll look at that. I think there could be some value of having a couple guys on our scouting staff being able to go out on the road. I think that could be valuable, but that's something Brett and I haven't got there yet. We'll get there eventually, but that's a conversation to be had.
That's interesting. Now, Jim, since you've taken the job, since you've started putting the work in, has anything about the job or about the process, has anything surprised you? Whether it's been good or bad, where you've just been like, oh, I really didn't anticipate doing that.
Uh, Probably too much. Yeah, there's probably too many surprises, man. I have tried to go into this thing eyes wide open. I really have, and I know I said it at the first press conference. I've got a lot of blind spots. Like I'm not coming in here thinking I've got all the answers. I don't have close to all the answers, and that's why I'm trying to surround myself with people that do. Quite frankly, I mean that's why I'm trying to get some guys that have been really heavy on the high school side and are good high school evaluators. Guys that I've seen a track record. They've been able to find under the radar high school guys that have went on to become good college players and NFL players. That's what we're trying to do. So no, there's been a bunch of surprises, man, but nothing I felt like overwhelmed with, really. I mean, the only time I felt overwhelmed is when I when you really think about everything you got ahead of you, you can get to be overwhelmed. So it's really been important for me to just take every day one at a time, and then it's easier to manage. Like I kind of have, I have this week all set out. And of course, there's things that pop up over the course of a day that, are unforeseen. That happens. But I'm just trying to take it day to day, and that way I won't get overwhelmed.
Most importantly, how you navigate Norman? Do you like the area? Have you been able to go see some places?
I'm recruiting him to be an Oklahoma City guy with me, Ted.
Okay.
I've been trying to get my hooks into Jim and draw him here north.
Yeah, I don't know where we're gonna live yet. I love Norman, man. So the best I've learned this in my time scouting. I like to run. When I was on the road scouting, you couldn't always get in a hotel with a gym. So when I could, I would work out. But one thing you could always do is find a place where you get leave the hotel and run somewhere. So I've become a decent runner. Not that I'm fast or I'm entering any races or anything, but I do like to run. So I'll leave the stadium every day and go in a different direction. And so I've run through all the different neighborhoods, every different direction. I've gotten down across Main Street, and so I feel like I've got a really good sense of Norman by now. Maybe some of the outer areas I haven't, but if you could do it, I think within like a 5 mile radius of the stadium, I'm doing pretty good and knowing where I'm going. I'm not getting lost anymore, but it's a great city. It reminds me a lot of where I grew up. It's in some ways it reminds me, really great people, working class neighborhoods. And that's kind of the same neighborhoods that I grew up in. So it kind of feels like home that way.
Well, Sooner Nation, if you see Jim out running, give him a wave. Jim, you're the man, buddy. I appreciate the time, and I'm so happy you're here.
Me too, man. I'm fired up. No, it's gonna be awesome. Really excited about this football team and where Brent and the staff have it going. I mean, I really am. And it starts at the quarterback spot. I mean, John's a really, really easy guy to point to get fired up about. But I think there's a lot of players that are going to make a nice jump this fall. So yeah, man, it's been great getting to know you guys a little bit in person. We've done the podcast thing for a while, but just to hang out and practice a little bit's been fun. And you had Sam Branford and Sam and Lane and Ryan Broyles and all the guys out of practice the other day. Really cool, man. It's really cool what you guys do coming back. I had that post on social media last night that we had a big time recruit in, and he wanted to know. He wants to go to a place where former players go back because it just shows him that it's family. And then you guys all showed up yesterday, so it was cool timing. But again, I know you guys are around a lot. I've seen both of you practice before, so really cool, man. Look forward to us spending more time.
You're the best, dude. Thanks for the time.
Okay. Thanks, fellas.
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
Oklahoma's favorite pub, Pub W, is a modern American pub offering a great new take on classic drinks and cuisine. They offer an extensive beer and specialty drink selection with something for everyone, and that's exactly why Pub W was voted best happy hour. And we all love a delicious brunch. Pub W brunch is served Saturdays and Sundays until 2 p.m. with some of the most delicious brunch offerings you'll find anywhere. Now open in Yukon, Oklahoma. Visit one of their 6 Oklahoma locations. Visit pubdub.com for locations and menus.
Insurica's launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
It is our pleasure to be joined by the heart and soul of Soonerscoop.com, Eddie Radosevich is in the house. Nothing would get done over there if it wasn't for him. What's going on, man?
I think that will be hotly debated, but no, this is the best week of the year. I look forward to this every week or every year, and I'm excited about the Masters, obviously, but got to close out spring football, and then we'll roll into Masters Sunday. How about that?
We were this close, Eddie, from getting out of spring football without devastating news, right? We were this close. We all knew it. We were all waiting. We thought we had got the all clear, and then boom.
I mean, you talk about devastating injuries and at a position that it seemed like they'd gone through so much a year ago that surely karma was going to build you back up. And, the Javonnie Gibson news, obviously, with everything that they kind of put together this spring, just in terms of not only the hype that surrounded Javonnie and the work that he had put in with John Matierso on like a personal level, I feel terrible for the kid, but more importantly, or I guess bigger picture wise, when you're looking at a wide receiver unit that was going to need to make some, some ground up from what they weren't a year ago, it's devastating. It's like, what else can happen at that position group that is bad news right now? And, hopefully you hope for the best, and maybe you could still get him at some point during 2025, but I'm sure that we've all kind of heard the same thing. It doesn't sound like he's going to be a part of the plans here moving into the off season or into the summer. And, it just sucks with all the work that they put in with John Mateer, and he stopped in, Dallas to work out with him and Deion Burks on the way down to Houston. It's a terrible situation at a position group that it seemed like, how much more bad news can you take?
You got a star receiver. The hell you do. Not so fast.
And I'm sure that we'd heard the same thing that you guys had been hearing. Like, I think that the hype was real. Like, I feel like they thought that they had somebody that had really kind of turned the page and maybe was going to be one of those great stories in college football from rags to riches. So back to square one. I guess the good news is the portal opens on April 16th. Who knows what's going to be in there, though? It's such a crapshoot. So hopefully some of those guys that got experience a year ago as freshmen, whether it be a Zion Kearney or whomever, even Isaiah Satania, and he's been limited here as of late. So just get through these next couple practices, get to the summer, and then put everybody in bubble wrap. Don't even make them go to summer class. Just get to August.
It's starting to feel like Emmett Jones is just cursed, right?
Crazy.
Like there has been some type of hex put on the man. I feel so bad, man. In a kind of a fluke situation.
Yeah.
Another wide receiver catches a quick out and just falls into Gibson and breaks his leg. Like,
it seems like that's the way things are going at that position group. And like you said, the thing that like the biggest talking point coming out of spring was they're healthy. Like there has not been any major injuries. You had Eli Bowen, he rolls his ankle. That's not a big deal. You're going to get him back for the start of summer. They'd made it. You'd made it to the final week and you're not even playing a game. So I don't know. Yeah, they need to do some type of demon exorcism. Whatever you can do. I already tried the sage. I already tried having a vigil for the football program last season. I'm down to try whatever. It doesn't matter to me, but they need to try something.
I think we're in animal sacrifice range, boys.
I'm in. As long as we can eat it too afterwards. I don't know like how that works. I don't know if they ate the chicken in the Indians clubhouse after they did it on Major League, but I'm down to do anything that we need to do.
We don't want to be wasteful. Yeah, well,
that's exactly right. We want to give back to we don't want to get PETA on our ass.
Of course. It makes me sad. Do you want to talk about the Masters? I feel like it'll put us in.
I would love to talk about the Masters.
Okay, good.
Luckily, we are full strength in terms of health situations for everybody going into the Masters, and it's crazy. I was listening to a podcast a couple days ago. I'm full on like any type of Masters content. I'll either listen to it or like it on social media right now. And I think that like the Masters has become this thing where I think like as of all the bad that's happened in golf, all the negative that's happened in the world of golf here over the last couple of years with LIV and PGA and everybody kind of going in separate directions. it's done a lot for the majors and especially the Masters. And I feel like this is the first week of the start of the year that everybody's back together. There's good vibes right now, especially, I saw that Brooks Koepka played his practice round with Freddie Couples, and I think it was JT and somebody else yesterday, maybe Adam Scott, who's on the board. So hopefully they're moving back to a merger and we'll get this and we'll put it in the rearview mirror. But for this week, it seems like everybody's buzzing, positive vibes, and you have Rory and Scotty as kind of 1A, 1B right now as the biggest storylines going into it.
Well, the course is the star for Masters Week. What do we need to know? How's it looking there? What changes, if any, to the layout, any of the tee boxes, any of that stuff? What are we looking like course-wise?
They've lengthened some of the holes. I think that the biggest thing, and you would probably have to be like a real Masters sicko or a real Augusta National sicko to notice, but with the hurricane that blew through there, when we were in that area down in September, when we went down to Auburn with the hurricane that went through Atlanta, they lost a lot of trees. And you heard John Rahm talking about it yesterday. I think that they lost some trees on 10. They lost some treeage or some foliage behind 15 green that backs up to 16 tee box. So I guess you'll notice that. But outside of that, I don't think that there's been just like major overhaul changes this year to the course. And, it's almost become a little bit of a situation where it's like somebody mentioned this week that it's a predictable score at the end. And we've kind of seen everything hovering around -13, -14, which I think is a positive. And I'm just hoping that we look up on Sunday, as we always do in the Masters, with a leaderboard and with big names on the leaderboard. And I think that there's a chance this is the year that we get one of those showdowns. It's kind of, I guess, ironic in a way that over the last couple years, as good as the PGA has been, as good as the U.S. Open's been, the British Open, we really haven't had that Masters at Sunday at the Masters where you're looking up and they're going to the back nine and you're thinking, okay, this is anybody's game. So hopefully it sounds like the course is phenomenal condition as per usual, but the weather this year has been really superb leading up to it. And I think it's going to offer for what should be a fantastic tournament.
Weather, not a factor?
Little bit maybe on Friday. I think that we're still fingers crossed. They had the weather on Monday. Had a couple of buddies that went out there for the practice round, stood in line for like 45 minutes at the merch, and got through the merch. Spent thousands of dollars in there, and then the horn blew. They were just underneath the barrier though, so they get a chance to go back next year and repurchase tickets. So they kind of got best of both worlds. You get the 2025 year, and you get to go back in 2026. So Monday was the only bad weather day, and I think that yesterday was perfect. Today's supposed to be perfect. Friday, there's a little bit of a chance of rain, but I think that they're starting to think that maybe that's going to be more of a overnight Thursday into Friday morning, and then it clears out by Friday afternoon. So I think we're good in the low 70s, middle 70s. It's going to be absolutely spectacular weather, just as much as it is kind of around here. We're in a good mode right now with the weather.
For today, for now.
Sure.
Winter number 5 could be around the corner.
I'm sure it will be.
So who we liking? Who do you like going in? A bunch of guys playing well, a bunch of guys familiar with the course that have traditionally played well here. Who you liking?
Yeah, it's hard to go away from 1A, 1B, and Rory's playing probably the best that he's ever played going into the Masters. He's won twice this year, coming off a win at the Players in the playoff there on that Monday down at the home of golf. So Rory's probably 1A. I think the storyline with just him and trying to complete the career Grand Slam, nobody's ever done it outside of Gene Sarazen. And I don't even think that we were really keeping track of Grand Slams at that point. So just to get that monkey off his back, obviously you go back to 2011 and when he wasn't able to do it with the 5-shot lead going into the back nine, and he blew it way left in 10. So we're starting with Rory, and then obviously you got to go to Scotty. And it's just kind of insane that like Scotty's playing quote unquote bad for what his standards were a year ago. And obviously he won. He's trying to become just the second player in Masters history to win 3 of the last 4 years. I think Jack Nicklaus is the only player to do it. He won in 63, 65, 66. So that's 1A, 1B. And then you start working your way into some of the other guys. And Colin Morikawa is playing extremely well. He's kind of that guy that I think everybody's looking to this week as a guy that maybe not so much of a sexy underdog story as much as that 1C or that 2A favorite behind Scotty and Rory. You obviously got to look at all the guys that have played well there in the past, some of the former winners, even somebody like a Phil Mickelson, who I think you can get at like plus 100 to 1 right now, which, obviously would pay off pretty well. He played pretty decent. He was in contention on Sunday down at Doral with Liv. And then, I think that like somebody like a Ludwig Abear, he's not playing extremely well going into this week, but he did debut last year and he finished second. So I'm excited about that. Bryson DeChambeau at 16 to 1. He's playing pretty well. He played well on the Live Tour. Who knows what you're going to get from a John Rahm at 14 to 1. I do like him at plus 170 to finish top 20. I think that's probably a pretty good bet. You just go back to some of these guys that have played well there in years past. And, it's hard to get away, though, from some combination of Rory, Scotty, and Colin Morikawa's guys that are, obviously going to be in contention. You would expect come Sunday. Morikawa's kind of under the radar, had an incredible year. He's had top 25s in all 5 starts. He got second at the Century, second at the Players, to Rory. And had a really kind of a bad weekend, wasn't able to close things out. He's leading the tour in shots gained around the green, which from tee to green is usually one of those analytics.
Give us the stat, Eddie. That's the stat that everyone loves.
Top 30. So somebody put it out there. I'm not going to give him credit because I forgot who it was. 7 of the last 7 winners. These are the 7 qualifications. Top 30 in OWGR, which, is kind of funky the way that we're doing it. Doesn't really qualify a bunch of those live guys. Even somebody like Joaquin Niemann, who has been playing well. Phil Mickelson would tell you he's playing better than anybody in the world without a win. Finished top 15 in one of both of the last 2 majors. Had a previous top 5 in a major. Top 5 finished this season. Previous top 25 at Augusta National, top 25 in shots gained, tee to green, and then top 50 in both shots gained in approach as well as tee to green. So that kind of limits your field. Gained the last 13 winners. Every one of the last 13 winners has gained at least 18 shots tee to green in the last 4 starts. There's 14 of those guys going into this week. Scotty, Corey Connors, who's always a kind of a favorite. I think I gave you guys him a year ago and he fell flat on his face. I think he missed the cut. I think he shot like 78 on Friday or something. Really embarrassed me. So I'm not going to pick him this weekend. And he's Canadian, and I can't do that after what they did to the 4 nations. Colin Morikawa, JJ Spawn, who's played well. Rory, Sepp Straka, underdog favorite. Get him this week at 60 to 1. He went to Georgia, familiarity with the course. He's played there well before. Aaron Ray's had a really good year. The Brit that has, I think, won on the PGA Tour this year a couple weeks ago. Bryson, obviously. Lucas Glover. Will Zalatoris is a guy that I don't think a lot of people are talking about this week. And you can get him at 60 to 1 alongside Cam Smith. Russell Henley, another guy with, kind of area experience, having gone down to Georgia. And then Bob McIntyre, that won on tour last year, won the Canadian Open, I believe, as well as the Scottish Open. And then Kevin Yu, don't know him, not going to claim to know him, but he falls under the criteria of he's gained more than 18 shots tee to green in his last 4 starts. So there's a lot of guys this year that you could make an argument, but I still think that we're going to get back to that little small core of guys that usually have their name in contention. Would love to see Spieth even make a run this week.
People love the nostalgia. We don't have Tiger this year. But, when one of the former champions, someone makes a run, people really get behind that. And is this Phil's last decent shot at going out and winning it?
I thought you were going to go Angel Cabrera's return, and I was about to start.
El Pato, back and in the winner's circle. He won on the Champions Tour last week.
Fresh out of prison. For being an awful person.
He leads the cigar metric too, right? Cigars on course at all times.
He just needs to start smoking the cigarettes again, get back to his former self when he won. incredible story. Like, surely they were letting him hit balls while he was in prison in Argentina. I did get a chuckle out of him being at the Champions Dinner on Tuesday night. Him and Ian Woosnam would love to sit at their table because I think that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, feels like playing pretty good golf right now. He kind of got screwed last week. He was in contention. Can't remember if it was on like 13 or 14 down at Doral. Hit the pin, ended up making double, and he kind of knocked himself out.
It
So
hit the pin.
well.
It hit the pin and went in the water.
That's something that would happen to me. But I would never hit the pin. It would hit it in the air, like hit the flag and then ricochet somewhere else. He is playing well and he looks good too. Like somebody said last week that he looked like an offensive coordinator with like the without the headset because he's just wearing like those baggy, like loose fitting rain gear, which kind of looks good. But yeah, like I think Bill's playing well. Don't really know what John Rahm's doing. I think he's playing okay, and he seems to have a good fit there, obviously, having won 2 years ago. Outside of that, though, like you're kind of like getting into this area where, like, I don't know what Patrick Reed's up to these days. He's been hovering around contention on the Live Tour. I just don't really know. Like, you don't have a whole lot of numbers to be able to throw out there. Hideki Matsuyama is one of those former winners that you'd never think about. And then all of a sudden on Saturday, he shoots 66 and he puts himself into contention. Sergio is another guy that is playing extremely well. I think he's going to make the Ryder Cup this September when they head up to Bethpage. He's playing extremely well. He was in contention last week. So you like the former winners. Dustin Johnson doesn't seem like he gives a damn about golf. I don't think that the Shotgun Start guys kind of joke around about it. I don't think he practices anymore, but he has the game. Wouldn't be surprised if he found himself in contention. So I'm kind of excited. We're kind of in this period where, like, the former winners, you have a lot of guys that are still very competitive, and then you have a big gap of guys that are just kind of there to make the ceremonial walk. Bernard Longer playing in his final Masters, which is still incredible. Like I think he's 63 and he definitely is in better shape than me. I know that for sure. And he, kicks ass on the Champions Tour. So it'd be kind of cool if he could sneak his way into making the cut this weekend. Certainly don't expect him in contention, and just good to have Freddie Couples there just for the vibes.
Anybody you feel, maybe well-known guy or not, but anybody you feel strongly like we're not going to see him on the weekend?
JT's playing well. He doesn't have a good track record, and I don't know if that's a little bit of scar tissue from just watching him. I think 2 of the last 3 years missed the cut with just horrible finishes. A lot of that had to do with weather. I think it was 2 years ago that had to do with weather. It was raining and just kind of cold. It was miserable out there. So he's playing well. I just don't know what to expect. And I don't know if can you get over that scar tissue. He's certainly somebody that I would love to see on the weekend, would love to see in contention. I kind of like JT, and he's had a little bit of a resurgence from where he's been over the last couple of years. So, really hasn't been in contention at a major since winning up in Tulsa at the Southern Hills. So that's somebody that I might fade a little bit. Bear's somebody that played well last year in his debut at the Masters. He's just not playing well though. Like the shots gained around approach and
how do you factor in the outfits?
Well, I don't know because
they're going bold for my man
with Ludwig.
Oh yeah,
I have
bright colors, a lot of pattern.
It Hovland bad.
It's Hovland-esque.
Okay,
it's not quite full Jason Day, but it's Hovland. It's Hovland-esque.
I will say.
I love Jason Day's look. I could never rock it, dude.
In on the Malbon.
I'm kind of in on it.
And I didn't think I would be. I wanted that sweater that I think Victor wore that had the picture with like the golf course on it. I think it's like $1,500 though, a little bit outside of my price range. But I do like some of the Malbon stuff, and Jason Day's playing decent right now. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't know who are the guys that because there's going to be a couple of these guys, kind of like a Corey Connors from a year ago, that you feel like is playing extremely well, and then all of a sudden you get a bad draw. And historically, here over about the last 10 years, it's been early late. You want to be early late tea time, so that'd be early on Thursday morning, and then obviously Friday afternoon late. So you don't have weather to worry about, which is obviously good news for everybody. That's not only going to be there but viewing at home. So. Yeah, I don't know. Sepp Straka, as much as I want to pull the trigger on him and take a little bit of a long shot with him, I just don't know. I feel like I'm going to end up taking him, and then he's going to miss the cut, and I'm going to be really pissed off at myself.
What's best case scenario for the world of golf? Because it feels like this can really catapult the whole season. Is it like Rory and Scheffler on the final day, or like what's the best pairing, the best scenario on a Sunday that grabs everyone's attention and kind of propels the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think it would be maybe like a mixture of like the probably the straight answer is Rory and Scotty going head to head, let them run down each other on the back nine on Sunday afternoon. I would like a little bit of chaos. I don't know if I would be cheering for any of the live guys, but I would like some of those guys to be involved, whether it be a Bryson, a Brooks Koepka, who we really haven't talked about. Nobody's really talked about going into this, but it just seems like he's one of those guys that always puts himself in contention in a major. I would love to see Brooks in contention. I would love to see somebody like a John Rahm even. In contention. So I think that the best possible situation is you wake up Sunday and you look at the leaderboard and you go, this feels like 10 years ago. This feels like every big name has delivered and every big name has a chance to win. And, I think that the Rory mania that would come on Sunday, if he has a chance to lock down the Grand Slam and kind of everything that has led up to this moment over the last 3-4 years since everybody left and Liv started, and you've had the back and forth between both sides. I would love to see this thing culminate with, a tie ball game as they walk on to 16 tee box, maybe both coming off eagles at 15 or birdies, tap in birdies. It's been so long since we've had that Sunday that you look up at, 4:30 or whatever time it's going to be and gone, yeah, the winner is still very much in doubt. I think that that would be the best possible outcome.
All right, last one, Eddie. Let's get a winner and then kind of a long shot pick, whether that's to finish top 20, top 10.
Sure. We'll go long shot first. I'm kind of fading Joaquin Niemann. This is kind of a put up or shut up moment. You can get him at 28-1, which isn't a bad value wise, especially if he is playing some of the best golf in the world. I just feel like he hasn't shown up. We've been in this mode over the last couple of years where it's Joaquin Niemann's finally his chance to shine. He hasn't really lived up to that. I'm fading him a little bit. Maybe even the same with Xander Schauffele. I don't know what Xander's doing, if he's going to be one of those guys that you could go long shot. Let's go long shot, though. Not much of a Victor Hovland guy. I think Will Zalatoris at 60-1. He's kind of quietly started to play pretty good golf. I don't have it wrote down what you could get Daniel Berger at, a name that maybe people forgot about.
Back from the back
injury and playing pretty good golf. I could see him having the type of game that would put him in contention come the weekend. But I think it's his moment. And I feel like we've done this before, but I feel like Rory McIlroy, there's something about him. He was talking about it just kind of in passing, or I guess on the podium on Monday, about his daughter Poppy, and talking about, kind of realizing that her dad is famous. There's this, I don't know, kind of somewhat this innocence about him that I just feel like Rory's ready to take that next step. And it would be super, super cool if he was able to do it this weekend. Maybe take advantage of the moment. But I'm going to go Rory to win. I think Colin Morikawa will play well and will be in contention on Sunday. So if you want to grab him at, I think it's plus 125, or maybe even plus 125 to finish top 20. I think it's top 5 is plus 150, which isn't the best value. But I think he could be another guy if you wanted to throw a couple bones on him to just, maybe even win at 14-1. That wouldn't be a bad bet. So I think this is going to be a star-studded leaderboard, though. It's star-studded tournament, and hopefully it will deliver because the weather-wise is going to meet the expectations. Just hopefully the tournament does the same.
It's going to be great. Little Crimson Combine in the middle of it.
I'm going to have.
That's where all the fireworks are going to happen between noon and like 3:30 on Saturday. That's where the movie's going to be.
I'm going to have headphones on, and usually I'm listening to you guys on the broadcast. Full disclosure, I'm going to be listening to Masters Radio on Saturday during the Crimson Combine.
Literally no judgment, dude. No offense taken at all.
I'm surprised you don't want to listen to us break down the W drill or something going on. Who knows what we're going to be talking
from
about?
like a really disgusting, sick kind of like videographer way. I am kind of excited to get some of these guys on video because there is a lot of intrigue with some of these guys on the defensive side of the football. That, as bad as the news is with Javonnie Gibson, there's some good news on the defensive side of the ball with the Kendall Daniels of the world, and even just the continued maturation of Robert Spears-Jennings and Michael Boganowski, those guys that I am kind of excited about to see on.
Yeah. Kendall Daniels photos and videos really well.
I've received the schedule for the Crimson Combine, and I think there may be more going on than we initially thought.
Okay.
Individual drills.
Suck me back in.
Here we go. Individual drills is on there. We've also got special teams drills. Okay. But hey, the special teams drills are usually fun and kind of intense. There is a punt catching challenge, which they better make fat people do it. And I mean linemen. They better
challenge here lately.
Eddie, you never know. Someone may come over and grab you. Say we've got a challenge for you.
Hey,
that's my dream. I'll be ready.
There's also we've got more individual drills. We've got a closest to the pin challenge.
Okay.
I don't know if that will be fans or players. I hope it's both. Ted, half line is on here.
Okay.
Which means, Eddie, half line is basically you have center, left guard, left tackle, tight end, and you're working run concepts against the defensive line. Like it's an intense drill.
I kind of like that.
It's on the schedule. Also have 7-on-7 and O-line, D-line 1-on-1s on the schedule. This is what was sent to me.
Gabe, I think you're the same. I'm a sicko for OLDL 1-on-1s, and then everybody can break down the 4-second clip that is tweeted out immediately after, and we'll decide if these guys are busts or if they're going to win an Outland trophy.
If people, first of all, thank you for the footage that we broke down on In the Weeds on our YouTube channel.
Problem. That was great. That was great.
That was awesome. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But if people just judged your football ability off one-on-ones clips, people would have thought I was the worst player ever. It's an awful drill. It's terrible. According to the schedule I was sent, and there's a lot of fan interaction stuff, autographs, like all this stuff. But according to the schedule I was sent, maybe we're going to get to see some actual football on Saturday, boys.
Go. I like it.
In a weird way, that might even be better than, what we've had here over the last couple of years with the spring game. That, let's be honest, after about the first 45 minutes, it's like, okay, I kind of get what they're doing here.
Well, it's helpful if you can just lock in on one thing going on at a time. Like it.
Yeah.
Yep. And
I like it.
We'll overreact, I'm sure.
Oh, that's part of the process. That's what we're going to do for the next 6 months. We have nothing else to do outside of talk about the Thunder, but they're going to win a world championship in a month, or I guess 2 months.
Plan the parade.
10 months. NBA playoffs last 10 months.
It really does feel like that. I always think it's funny that the NHL can play every other day, but don't get me started.
Eddie, it's a tradition unlike any other. Your annual appearance for the Masters. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it, guys. Looking forward to the weekend. And this truly is one of the better weeks of the year in sports. So very excited about it. Go Masters.
You're the best, man.
See ya.
If you're as passionate about OU sports as we are, now's your chance to make a difference with One Oklahoma. As the official NIL partner of the University of Oklahoma, One Oklahoma plays a crucial role in keeping the Sooners competitive in the SEC. Your subscription goes beyond the revenue sharing cap, directly helping recruit and support the athletes who become Sooner legends. Plus, you'll get access to exclusive events, behind the scenes content, merch, giveaways, and more. Join the team and be the difference maker for your Sooners. Join today at oneoklahoma.com. And three things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise. It's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go. And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. I believe that's our first episode ever with 2 interviews.
Well, 2 home runs.
Love both of those guys.
2 home runs.
All right, let's finish this thing up like we always do with our winners and losers of the week. As always, Ted, kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
OU baseball. You know, that damn Dallas Baptist came into town, did what you knew they were going to do. 9-1 victory. The Sooners have been outscored by Dallas Baptist in midweek 20-1 this year. But as people, I don't know if people know yet, but this is actually a good omen for OU baseball. When you lose to Dallas Baptist, you sweep your next weekend series. So we are right on pace. We got Vandy coming to town. The weather's going to be amazing. The baseball's going to be amazing. They're a top 25 team. They're going to have a lot of good arms. We're set up for an awesome weekend. It was cool, though. $2 Tuesdays starting to be a little bit of a hit. I don't know if you saw the guys with the cup pyramid. I mean, they were getting it in. I think a guy did the beer and hot dog every inning for 9 innings. That was pretty cool to watch, but a good omen. We are in a great place with OU baseball. This is going to be an awesome weekend with Vanderbilt. I can't wait.
Hold on. You just made OU baseball your winner of the week for getting blown out at home?
Yes. Yep.
I'll allow it.
It's not they didn't get blown out at home by anybody. It's Dallas Baptist. Whenever we lose to Dallas Baptist, it's a sign that we're right where we need to be. I don't make the rules. This is just how it's played out, okay? This is how it's played out.
We'll see this weekend. All right. I like the theory. I like where your head's at. I like the positivity.
People don't know this. People don't know this. They need to come along. Like this, Dallas Baptist is like, this is the gauge for us where baseball's at, and we are right where we need to be.
Okay. If you say so, I'm in. You sound crazy, but I'm in.
I can't wait. This weekend's going to be awesome. I plan on being there hopefully Friday night and Sunday. That's my plan.
Love it. All right. Who do you have as your loser of the week?
Oh, what a game. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. But Houston, they were so close, controlled the majority of the game, and Florida did to them what Houston did to Duke at the end. Just came back, roared back, won it, closed it. I thought they closed it out with great defense in the last couple of minutes. I heard some people complaining about the game because it was low scoring. I thought the last 5 to 7 minutes of that basketball game was edge of your seat stuff. I loved it.
I feel for Sharp for Houston.
Yeah.
Couple turnovers on the last couple of possessions of the national title game.
Yep.
That's something that sticks with you for a long time. And that was the disappointing part for Houston is what their last 3 or 4 possessions just they're the best offensive rebounding team in college basketball. You got to get some shots up and then go crash the boards and do what you do. They didn't even get shots up, Ted.
Couldn't even get shots up. I mean, that's the most painful thing is like you, I mean, you can't even get to the point to give yourself a chance because of how Florida was swarming them. And credit Florida for that. You know, I don't know. I thought the ending was great. Would have loved to have seen Houston finally get the trophy, get the championship with all those Final Four appearances. I mean, they got it rolling, but couldn't cash it in. And congrats to Florida. Well fought.
That's one of the stranger endings you're ever going to see to a title game.
Yeah.
Guy jumps in the air, realizes he's going to get his shot blocked, puts it on the deck, like can't touch it. He's like blocking Clayton Jr. out, like trying to let one of his teammates get it. That was
so tough. In hindsight,
it was a horrible ending. Let's be real. It was a horrible ending.
It was. It probably should just grabbed it, got the whistle, and then, you know, maybe they can foul and extend it and give themselves a chance after, you know, Florida had missed some free throws late. But, I mean, in that moment, it's, you know, who knows? Maybe that wouldn't even been the play. I don't know. But, yeah, that's tough.
The last possession for Houston, I'm not an X's and O's specialist, but you're only down two. Like it felt like whatever set they were trying to run just took way too long to develop. And I didn't understand why they didn't go to the rim and like get a shot up early and try to give yourself multiple chances. And then you've got the fact that Kelvin Sampson's just over there kind of standing still. A lot of people pointed that out. I don't know what happened with all that, man, but it was a bit of a disaster of a last possession with the national championship on the line. And credit to Florida that the defense was excellent. But man, it was a bad all-around look for the Cougars there on that last possession.
No, yeah, there's no doubt. And, you know, who knows what the actual plan was, but it got off the rails perhaps fairly quickly and got caught in a scramble where maybe no one knew exactly what they needed to do. And yeah, that the haunting part is you couldn't even get a shot up. Like that is you get a shot up and you miss. Okay. You live with that, but not even being able to get something hoisted towards the rim is brutal.
Absolutely brutal. Congratulations, I guess, to the Florida Gators.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it done.
All right, my winner of the week, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Get the win over the Lakers. Some would say a flash flood hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Flash flood warning. Okay.
It was full on flash flood. There was flooding in the streets once Luka Doncic got ejected. I mean, the Thunder completely dominated the game. The Lakers, let's be real, they kind of unraveled once Luka got ejected, but I was there, Ted. The first half was insane. The level of shot making by both teams was ridiculous. In the defense, I thought was pretty dang good. Just everything for everyone was going in. It was exhilarating to watch. You compare that first half to what you watched on Monday night between Florida and Houston. You're like, these are different sports.
Yep.
It was 80-72 at the half.
Crazy.
It was awesome to watch, but, and I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not, Luka gets ejected with 7 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Now, is it absolutely hilarious that he got ejected for yelling at a fan and the ref thinking he was yelling at him? Yes, that is objectively hilarious. Especially because Luka Doncic never stops complaining. But I do think that was not the best outcome for the Thunder. I think they got robbed of a very valuable experience right before the playoffs because this team has not played a ton of close games. And that's a credit to them for being so good and so consistent throughout the season. But that felt like a game, if Luka would have remained in the game, that would have come down to the last couple of possessions. And I wanted the Thunder to feel that pressure because it was a playoff type atmosphere in the arena. I wanted them to feel that pressure with LeBron James and Luka Doncic on the other side and the game on the line in the last 2 minutes. Like, I thought it would have been like that would have been more valuable than Luka getting ejected and then just bum rushing the Lakers the rest of the way. Now, I also really enjoyed watching Luka get ejected. So that was fun too. But I do think this team missed out on something that would have actually been more helpful for them in the long run.
Do you think that that's a real issue? I mean, the point differential has been, one of the things that people have pointed to that shows how great they are. You would expect in the playoffs that that's not going to hold. And yeah, some pressure situations, tight games late, maybe being down a couple of points, or do you think that is a factor with this team?
I think it's an unknown. They have not been in a ton of those situations. Now, I'm confident in this. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to be just fine in those situations.
Yeah.
Don't let the fact that Luka Doncic got ejected overshadow the fact that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the best player on the court in that game. They have no one. The Lakers have no one that can guard him. Nobody. 42 points. It was really good to see him go 5 of 9 from 3, but he got to his spots. Like, they had no answers for Shai. But yeah, I think this team, they have not been in a ton of close games. So we'll see. I did like what Shai said after the game. It's like, hey, this season he has tried to empower his teammates. And I kind of interpreted that as he's trying to get them ready for those big moments in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I wish this would have been a game that was tied with 2 minutes to go, and just because I wanted to see how the Thunder responded to that pressure and to that feeling, that intensity. But maybe I'm overthinking it, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it is interesting and does leave a little bit of intrigue as you go into the playoffs, and how do they handle those moments? Feels like because of the personnel, they'll handle them just fine, but it could have been a decent little gauge as you head into the most critical time of the year.
2 fun stories from the game.
Okay.
John Calipari sitting right next to us at the game.
Okay.
And he's been in a couple games this year, and he had like 3 or 4 guys that he coached on the rosters for the Lakers and the Thunder. And Fayetteville's close, But my most important takeaway from sitting next to John Calipari is he is a wallet on the back of his phone guy. Combo.
Okay.
Wallet, phone case, combo. Like, wallet built into the back of the phone case. So if he loses one thing, he's losing it all. I thought that was very interesting. I thought it was fascinating.
I've seen, like, my wife has a phone case that has, like, just like a card holder.
No, this was thicker than that.
Full on cash, everything rolled up into one thing.
Pretty substantial thickness on the wallet on the back of the phone case.
Huh. It says a lot about the personality. Lives dangerously.
I thought it was fascinating. And then
He's all your eggs in one basket kind of guy.
All or nothing, baby. Yeah. I couldn't stop looking at it. I was like, really? I can't live dangerously like that. I don't think I've ever lost my phone or my wallet, but I thought it was a very interesting, it's a bold choice.
Yeah. How does he handle a game? Is he just kind of
very calm?
He's
very calm. There were a couple plays where he went, wow, or like, wow, he's playing great. Like, there were very, very limited reactions. The guy's seen a lot.
Yeah, he's seen a lot. I was just curious if what he does during the, when everyone's standing up, big moments in the game, crowd's really into it.
Very
Not
calm.
a lot going on. Yeah.
Very calm. Now, one very cool story from halftime. Chet was shooting right in front of us at halftime. And he turns around and he passes the ball to my son. And remember, my son's 3, he'll be 4 in June.
And your 3-year-old buried a 30-footer?
That would have been a way better story. But my son is eating popcorn as I see Chet is like about to feed him the ball. So I go full dad mode. I grab the popcorn out of his hand as the ball is being bounced. Bounce pass, perfect bounce pass from Chet. And my son, clean catch, both hands. Like, okay, we didn't drop it in front of Chet. We're good here. Chet asks, hey, I want the pass back. My son delivers a perfect pass right into the shooting pocket. Chest pass right into the shooting pocket.
I'm pretty impressed by Chet nailing the bounce pass. I mean, a 7-footer bounce passing to, a 3.5-footer or 4-footer. I mean, maybe he's a 5-footer at this point, probably going to be a huge kid. I mean, the levels there, not easy.
So we've got a clean pass to my son. Son delivers clean pass back to Chet. Chet goes to shoot the 3 to complete the assist. Only one issue, Ted. Buttery popcorn fingers.
Oh.
Butter. My son's butterfingers have gotten all over the basketball. Chet goes to shoot it, goes up, rises to the shooting motion. Ball flies backwards like 6 feet. Slips right out of his hands.
Hey, you never know. This could be last possession. Someone tips a basketball out of bounds, goes into some popcorn. You know how golfers, they practice the sand shot. They hit chips off of the cart path. You never know when the basketball's going to be buttered up. You got to prepare for that.
Now, Chet acknowledged, hey, man, a little buttery. Came and redid the entire thing. Clean catch, clean pass. Chet fires the 3. Pressure's on at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but net.
Wow.
Son was fired up. It was a very cool moment. He went to fist bump my son. My son got real nervous. It was like, but it was very cool of Chet. Thank you to Chet Holmgren for that whole interaction.
How about that? First child to log an assist in the NBA?
No, I'm sure this stuff happens all the time.
Right. That's pretty cool, though.
It was a cool story. It was really funny when the ball went flying out of his hands because my son got his buttery popcorn fingers all over it.
That's great.
Loser of the week. Let's stay in the NBA. The Denver Nuggets.
What's going on here?
What in the world, man? Okay. They fire Michael Malone. They're not going to extend their general manager, Calvin Booth. They're in the battle to be the 3 seed in the West. Now, they have been struggling, Ted. I think they're 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost like 4 straight as of when they let these guys go. But Jamal Murray's also missed like the last 5 games. But they won the title 2 years ago. I just doing this right before the playoffs feels crazy, man.
Yeah. And I guess you never know the dynamic and what it's like.
Oh, these two guys do not like each other. It is common knowledge. The coach and the GM.
Right. But it's weird though. Like if the coach and the GM don't get along, not going to extend the GM. Well, who makes the decision? If you're not going to extend the GM, is that the guy that you want firing the coach? I guess I don't know how all of it played out, but somebody with some leverage and some power just does not like the situation. And I mean, it kind of leans towards a player at this point, right? Players, I guess.
Josh Kroenke, who is Stan Kroenke's son, who runs the Nuggets, he made it sound like, hey, this was going to happen after the season. We're just going to do it now. Which, if that's the case, okay, but it's a bit of a distraction with the playoffs right around the corner. And I thought something Kroenke said in a statement was interesting. He said championship level standards and expectations remain in place for the current season. So maybe they just thought these two guys not getting along at all was just kind of killing the vibe of the entire franchise. But to fire Michael Malone, who was there for the last 10 years, he's the all-time wins leader. He won you a title. I just feel like you don't do him dirty like this. Because this is an embarrassing way to get fired.
Yeah.
And I just feel like he has earned more than that, if you will. Like it just is. It was a shocker. Now everything is graded now on 1 to Luka trade to the Mavs. This was probably a 8.5 on the Luka to the Lakers scale.
Yeah. Timing is crazy. I guess the only real way to, I mean, on its face, it looks like a strange move, a bold move, like right before the playoffs. And, I know that they're going through a rough stage, but I guess we have to judge it by what happens afterwards, right? If the locker room galvanizes the team, the morale, whatever, if they're in a better place and the basketball improves, maybe you have to say, it was toxic and they made the right move to compete the best in the playoffs, but time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, if they go on and win a title, I will come on here and say my opinion was wrong and I will praise the move.
What a move, yeah.
But until that happens, not a fan of the way that this went down for Michael Malone.
It's wild.
It'd be one thing if they were like battling to be in the play-in.
You're right. Yeah.
They're a playoff team. And that's where Jokic is. You never hear him say anything about needing more help or the coaching or like any of that stuff, or at least I haven't seen any of it. And something like this can't happen without him saying, okay, yeah, sounds good, right? I mean, maybe it did, but he's got 2 more years on his contract. Then he's got a player option in the 2027-2028 season. You've got Jamal Murray. He's under contract through like 28, 29. So those are your core guys. I wonder if they were part of the decision. I don't know. I'm sure people will ask them over these next couple weeks, but just an absolute shocker, man.
I could be wrong, but I just get the impression and the vibe from Jokic and the Jokic brothers and family that they disappear people. They don't have them fired. You just kind of show up missing if you cross the Jokic family. I don't know that there's a public firing at all. You just kind of disappear, but I don't know. Typically a move like that, whenever you've got that big of a player, you do have to forecast it a little bit, but it's not always the case. They didn't Jokic or Luka. He was a star at the Mavs and he got caught off guard. So who knows how it went down?
No idea, but just a very interesting development in Denver, and we'll see how things go for them in the playoffs. They still have arguably the best player on the planet, so yeah. We'll see.
All we can do is wait and see what the results show.
Birthday shout-outs. Happy 37th birthday to Ryan Broyles.
How about that? Happy birthday, Ryan. That's awesome. And happy birthday to Dustin Cheney.
On that note, episode 517 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Sunday. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, check out our website, okbreakdown.com. It's got all of our stuff in one spot. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have an awesome weekend. Show up for the Crimson Combine.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, also enjoy the Masters. It's the best. Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.